Hi, welcome back to part 3 on how to draw a cat. In part 2 the camera did cut off, so I'm just going to continue on this part. So what you want to do is continue by blending, and we're here in our blending and we're just going to keep blending it. This way it makes a lot of shade and it makes it look really nice. You don't want too much blend in, so be careful of that. You don't want to overdo it, but you want it enough so it looks nice. Then we're going to add another bit of blend in right here and just under here. Then right here you want to make it pretty dark because it's shaded. And then we want to continue and we just want to add some shading right here. You also want to put quite a lot on its paws, so it makes a nice effect. And right here you also want to put quite a lot again because it's very shaded on this part. And continue by making it quite dark again right here. Just to create a nice effect of the shading, because on this side it's slightly more shadier than the other side. So now we're going to add a bit more light to it, so make sure we don't put too much now. And then we're just continuing up here with a bit more shading. Okay, so we're continuing right here. And right here. So the next part is we're going to continue with some more shading right up here. Here it gets dark to lighter, and then back to pretty dark, and then we're going to add a bit more right here. And it gives us a chance to blend these lines in a bit more, just to give it a bit more smoother and a lot more natural. So then what we want to do, we use these lines to help us with the colouring, and we're just going to use them and put our shading on top. And just continue right here. So this is cat's fur. Do you like a V in the middle but swishing it like this? And at the top it's a bit more lighter, there's a bit more white in it and everything, so we want to be careful not to overdo the shading. But we want to put enough so it blends in again. We don't want it not to blend in with the picture. We want to put quite a lot of shading in its ears because, well, it's pretty dark in the ears and everything's pretty much covered up. Right near his mouth there's a lot as well. And then just add a little bit here because we don't want any bare parts because then it will look odd. So right near his ears, not his ears, his eyes, and his whiskers. So once we put enough shading, of course we don't have to stop with the shading, we can always come back to it when we're colouring it in, but we are going to add the colour to it now. So the colours I'm using is a beige, and I'm using a dark brown, but it kind of looks light, so yeah. So we're going to be putting the lines. I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to be putting the brown on the black lines, and it's just going to blend in a little bit better. And then I'm going to get the beige and I'm just going to put it in. So we're going to be putting in more beige than brown. And then just a bit more beige. So the shading really helps blend in the colours, and it makes the cat a little bit darker. That's what we want. So again, I'm just going to get the brown and put it on top of the black, and it shades in a bit more. And then I'm just going to put in the beige and blend it in. Don't forget to blend in all the colours, because that will make it a really good effect. Especially when you've got some black on the tip, it helps it blend in a lot easier. And then you're going to continue doing that throughout the cat. So I'm just putting it on here and a bit more on the black. And again, I'm just doing it right here. Because you want to see a little bit of brown, but you want to be able to see not too much, because it'll make the cat's fur too brown and it won't look as nice. And then you just want to blend it all in together. And then you want to continue right here. Now it doesn't matter if your hands are going a bit everywhere, because we've already shaded all over the place anyway. And on this part, lightly do the brown, I mean. And when you're doing this part, try and not block all the colours in one section. You want them to mix. So for example, right here, I'm going to put the brown here, but I'm not just doing it in the line, I'm pushing it a bit everywhere. And the same with the beige, I'm not just concentrating on this hole, I'm concentrating all over the place because it's a lighter colour. And you want to continue doing that. So remember to do the bottom and the top on each line with the brown. And just keep doing that throughout the picture. Go in the same way as the lines, because it's going to make it a bit more of a better, just a little bit better. And I'm just putting that brown a bit everywhere, just to add a little bit more of an effect to the cat, especially on these lines. If you want to put some in the centre, just lightly do it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going over the lines pretty hard, and then when I get to the centre pieces, I'm lightly going over them. Here I'm going to follow it to the side, and right here. So this time you can put quite a lot of brown, as it's a darker part, and here we want to be careful with the brown. So then I'm going to add in that beige. So just adding it in right here. And you can pretty much go anywhere with the beige, as it's a pretty light colour. So I'm just putting it a bit everywhere. Because there's pretty much a lot of beige on this cat, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like all the colours blend in really nicely, because we're careful where we put them. But also we wasn't too careful, Because when you're too careful and try to put everything in one place, it doesn't always work either. So don't forget to put some right here. And then what you can do is just get your blender and just blend all of what we just did. Now you can always do this with your finger. It's sometimes quicker to do it with your finger. So as you can see, this is kind of odd. We're going to add a bit of brown and a bit of beige inside it, especially brown as it's a dark area because it's hidden. And then I'm going to add that beige. Now remember, you can always add a bit more shading inside it to make it a little bit darker. So you can take it off here and smooth it in there. So then we're getting to the top part of the cat. So I'm just going to add a bit more beige right here. And obviously you want to add the brown on the lines, but this time we don't want to add too much because it's getting to a lighter part when we get to the top of the cat. So we're lightly putting the brown on it, just like this. And then we could put a little bit more inside the ear because, because the cat is dark near his ears. You could put a bit more brown right here under his eyes and just near his mouth. So I put a few lines at the beginning near his ears, but I didn't rub them off, so I'm rubbing them off now. There we go. So now we're going to add in the beige. So the beige we're going to put quite a lot right here. And it smudges in quite well with the black. And we're going to leave it kind of white here. We don't want too much beige because we do want a bit of white, because I know under a cat's chin it's pretty white most of the time. So just blend it in like this. Just rubbing it off a little bit. So if you've done little bits of mistakes and you just want to rub it off, you can. And then you could just get your blender or your finger and blend it in so it all looks nice. Try not blend on the black lines because we don't want to blend them too much because we've already done that bit. So now we've done that part, what we want to do is we want to start concentrating on the cat's eyes, nose and mouth. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get this black pen, what we just did, and we're going to concentrate on doing that. So gently do these lines. And then you want to do the outline of the nose. So I'm just going to change it to this one. So be careful you don't do them too thick, that you get the right angle so you can practice a few times.